Is Bimbo Barbarella with the Bimbo Barbarella Music Program. And tonight, 8:18, we present a show on the band from Jacksonville, Florida, my home for 8 years. The name of the band is Lynyrd Skynyrd. And they really did get their name from a teacher. The name of the school was Robert E. Lewis. No, not Robert E. Lewis. Robert E. Lee. Robert E. Lewis. Robert E. Lee High School in Jacksonville. And I know exactly where that school is. And I'm sure they changed the name by now. Hello, Chris. Yeah, I saw that you called earlier, but I was making cat food, so I couldn't get the phone. I mean, if you know enough about Leonard Skinner, you can, definitely be on tonight's show. Um, so let's see who comes up tonight. I am sort of expecting a friend from bowling. His name is Vic, and he actually wants to learn how to do something like this, learn how to um, do a stream, make a show. So we'll see if he comes up. And Mr. Kropka Pirate Radio is here. Shalom to you, sir. Let me put the link out for anybody coming up. Okay, Miss Hopkins, just take your time, dear. Oh my God, and I saw the rain you guys are gonna get. You're gonna get more rain in a week than you get in like 5 years, right? I mean, this whole weather is going screwy. Um, in the last um, 10 days here, it's rained every single day. And I'm not talking about, little, dumps of rain. I'm talking about big, major downpours. Okay, Chris, that's fine. We'll enjoy the show. And I mean, if you want to add something important to the chat, feel free. Hurricane Hillary. Maybe she's, mad because you guys, didn't vote for her during the last presidential election. So let me put out that link. Hello, Hot Mess. How are you? Is it raining up in New York? All I know is that it's humid as hell here, too. Yes, Honor. Jacksonville, Florida. And like I said, the name actually is the name of a teacher. And he was teaching at Robert E. Lee High School in Jacksonville. I think that for this evening, we're just going to have Captain Chris because Miss Jen's not feeling up to the weather. So here's Captain Chris. Hello, sir.
Hi there.
Okay, so no
Hello.
Jen today?
Yeah, she's still nursing that
Oh,
tooth
yeah.
along, but
Oh, God.
turning
And
into
then,
more of a saga, but it is what it
oh,
is.
my God. Oh, my God. I know, I heard. Oh, hello, Miss Addie. How are you, dear? Any, before we start the show, any complaints about the weather? Hello, Chris.
I just
Hey,
wanted to come.
Chris.
I just wanted to come on and say hi to you, Bimbo. I haven't talked to you in a while, so that's all.
And what did you get, a haircut or?
Yeah, I got a haircut. All right, it needed it.
Oh, okay.
It's been so
Good
hot.
haircut for the weather. Yeah.
It's just
I mean, because I'm not sure whether it was a haircut or a weed eating accident.
it's just so damn hot.
Yeah, you shouldn't let me have the trimmer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go, there you go. and you wouldn't have to worry about that pesky vision anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Miss Debbie. How are you, dear?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, and like I said, feel free if Chris just wants to watch the chat and you want to add anything intelligent, because I know that anything that comes from Chris Leclerc's channel, if it's intelligent, it comes from you.
That's a compliment. Thank you very much.
You know it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Hello
Hey,
there,
Mark.
Pirate Radio.
Oh, funny.
All
Oh,
right.
hi. Hi, everybody.
Howdy. Hey.
Hi, Chris. Chris,
Hi, how are you?
Bimbo. Greetings. Great. Yeah, great. Great, grand, and groovy, as they say in Scotland.
Uh,
Great, grand, and groovy.
And they also say, I'm not cheap, I'm thrifty.
That's right. And a bumblebee stung me well above the knees.
Okay, now this band is from Jacksonville, Florida. I don't think they talk like that there.
No?
No. Oh God. Oh my God. Oh my God. We saw the devil in the back.
I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the wildfires in Hawaii?
Well,
Awful.
and like
Yeah.
Hawaii,
Bloody shame.
Hawaii makes it worse because even though they were bad in Canada, there was enough places to go. Hawaii's a freaking island. It can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I think even one of their senators came out and said, we screwed up, like from the get-go. I mean, they didn't have the right preparations, and the alarms didn't go off, and they didn't
Trump
prepare for that eventuality well.
What of that?
Trump supporters think it was man-made.
And it wasn't. It was just a power line that started it. And I've been to Maui twice to Lahaina, and it was beautiful. And I'm wondering if my hotel is still standing there where I stayed. And it's just so sad because it's such a beautiful area. The people are
Yeah,
nice.
I've never been there.
A lot
Oh,
of controversy too about potential investors and real estate developers just swooping in and buying it all up for a bargain, and then building really expensive houses. And
okay, Debbie. And so that's what really
great.
happened. Oh, what there was a down power line.
Yeah.
That's what I heard that started. They've
Okay.
got a video starting a couple of them, I think.
That's
So,
Debbie and her parents in Hawaii here.
Yeah.
Her mom.
yeah, that's great.
It's just-
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a nice picture from a couple of weeks ago that you took.
Yeah, I took my mom because she always wanted to go back in '96 for 11 days.
No, wait. No, we have the definitive answer to the problem. And of course, it's, Professor Addy who comes up with the answer.
Oprah.
Miss Addy, and you're going to play? Do you know anything about Lynyrd Skynyrd? And what about how you, Miss Missy? Because I think we're just waiting for Mrs. Hopkins and
Whose idea was Leonard Skinner tonight?
huh?
Whose idea was it Leonard Skinner?
It was
6 out of a hat.
yes by Mama B.
Mama B, the legendary Mama B.
And I'm telling you guys right now, I'm telling you early, we have had 3 Southern bands in a row. ZZ Top, Allman Brothers, and Lynyrd Skynyrd.
May
We
have
are
to
not-
choose a different
We
geography.
are not doing a Southern band next week. We're going up to Hot Missy's area, up to New York. We're gonna next week, and I'm telling you right now, because I already penciled it in and I already made up my list for it. It's Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground. You can
Next
use
week or the week
either-
after?
No, like every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. Okay.
You've
Lou.
been sent backstage. I don't see you, Addie.
I'll see you later. All right.
Okay. All right, Chris. Bye-bye. Hello, Hunter. Addie, I got Captain Chris, Mark, but I don't see you backstage, honey. Here, I'll put. Oh, here you go. Okay. There you go, Miss Addie Pickle. How are you, dear?
Got to put your sound on, Addie.
You got that right.
We can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yep.
yes, yes.
We can hear you.
Miss
A
Addie. Good.
little
Good,
soft,
good.
but we can hear you. You speak
Well,
up a
Hi,
little
Addie.
bit.
Is
Well,
this better?
well. I mean,
Yeah.
somebody as soft and sweet like Addie has a
God,
very wholesome sounding voice like that.
I am soft spoken.
Oh, she
Can't help
doesn't
it.
sound like she doesn't sound like Hootie the Owl outside my goddamn window every night. And I swear to God, this bitch does it on purpose.
I'm soft too, Addie.
I
Soft
know,
and
Mark.
mushy.
That's why I sail with you.
Yeah,
I don't know. Well, that's what the ghost told me too. So
soft and mushy.
okay. Um. Okay. So um. Let's. Okay, Addie. So you got 12 Skinner songs that you can do.
Yes, in fact, when I
Wonderful.
was making up the list, I realized I could make a whole paragraph out of the titles.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, there. When you guys, when I unveil my list, there's two songs that I intentionally left off because I can no longer stand listening to them.
Which two?
Gee, we'll take a guess.
Freebird?
Sweet Home
Yeah.
Alabama and Freebird.
Yeah. Freebird's one, and what's the other one, Mark?
Sweet Home Alabama.
Yes. Very good.
Nope, I disagree with Sweet Home. But
I
I
do
mean,
too.
it's
It's
a
a
good
great song.
song. Oh, I mean, they're both good songs, but there's so much other stuff you could play. Okay, so
That's
Captain Chris, you're gonna go first.
Okay. I guess I'll
Miss,
be speaking for Jen and
yeah,
myself.
Miss Addie, you will be second.
okay.
Um, Pirate Radio is gonna be third. And waiting for Mrs. Hopkins. Hopefully she'll be in soon because I kind of want to get this started. Because because tomorrow I'm gonna have to mow the lawn. No, really,
how
it's
long does
bad.
that take?
Huh?
How
Oh,
long does that take to
um,
do?
um, front and back about an hour and a half.
That's not so bad. I thought yeah.
It,
Well,
it
push mowing in Florida though is no
yeah.
joke.
Okay, because it depends on like where it can mow, but it's two and Chris and Jen know. If I can't mow back by the retention pond because it's underwater. So that's gonna save me like half an hour.
There you go.
Oh.
No,
Nice.
really. I mean, no, really. That thing is completely underwater.
We've actually had the rainiest summer I can remember in a long time
Yes,
this
yes.
year.
Yeah,
Okay,
we've been getting extra rain too.
okay, Jen. And so you're gonna do your list. Okay, but not be on screen. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
you can go after Chris.
It just depends, or I can read them out both. Maybe I can
Yeah,
read hers and then read
yeah,
mine.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
So
fine. Um,
I can go ahead and crank up here if you're ready,
um,
or do we want to wait for a few more moments for?
yeah. A few more minutes for Mrs. Hopkins. Okay, here she is.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, and there is Hurricane Hillary there. Oh, can you hear us there, Hurricane Hillary?
Oh, we can't hear you.
I have the same problem
I know.
sometimes.
I know.
1, 2, check. Can you hear us? Oh, she can't hear us either. Oh, she can hear us. Okay, so we need to hear you.
But now we got a good game of charades going.
You got that right. And that's not my number one
We
song.
need shadow puppets.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of that, Mark, I actually, and like it's a shame because I wrote two, I think, very, very beautiful songs. And when I say beautiful, I mean, for me, really nice songs. And I got the
Right.
lyrics, I got the melody. I just have no inspiration to do anything.
Oh, you gotta just get started.
Yeah. Well, see, because I'm waiting for my new bass guitar to come in.
Oh
Because
yeah, right.
because my new bass guitar, it is so cool. It's like black matte and it's got a green neck. And I can buy like some black strings to go on the green neck. And that's going to come in this
Cool.
week, so maybe I'll do it. No,
Hey,
but the
Bimbo,
songs are
have you ever played a song so nice that it made you cry?
well, that's funny because one of the songs' name is When the Mirror Cries.
Ah,
And like I said, they're not songs that you would expect, coming out of me. They're nice and
Full of spice.
I don't know. Because I wasn't even sure whether it was me writing down the words.
Well, I've got a tech suggestion for Mrs. Hopkins for getting the audio back. What you might consider trying is, logging out, and when you log back in, log in and then connect. And instead of closing the first window, just mute the first window and then just go with the second window unmuted. That seems to work better for me. I mean, when I was getting video and audio troubles a few weeks ago. So I don't know. That might kind of kick it. I mean, if you've checked the cables and made sure the cables are good and the volume is up on all of your various and sundry settings, then that would be the next thing to try, I think.
Oh yes, Honor, and I did hear about that Leonard Skynyrd box. Yeah. Um, oh, and so Hot Mess, you were making a video with Brandon. Oh, what'd you make him? Oh, would you boil hot dogs and make them hot dogs? I know, I don't understand these cables, Mrs. Hopkins. Oh, you don't know how many times I've had to call Chris and say, "Help me. Oh, help me." And then he's very helpful, but I find more help coming from a hammer. Than anything, that the captain says.
Well, I just push buttons till some bitch works.
Yeah.
That's gotten me through the first 25 years of my technical career, so I reckon I'm going to keep doing that.
Okay, Hot Mess. Well, this sounds fun.
Well, thanks for hanging in there, Missy.
Okay, so we'll let Mrs. Hopkins catch up when she does. So, okay, Chris, and so you're gonna read for both you and Mrs. Snapdragon, right?
Correct.
Okay, go ahead.
Right, and I'll read from hers first. Her number 12 is Tuesday's Gone off of the first Lynyrd Skynyrd album. And my number 12 is The Ballad of Curtis Lowe.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
like that song.
it's a great song. You only hear it once in a blue moon on classic rock radio, but it's a great song. It has that country feel of like actually telling a story in the song. He's this 10-year-old kid who goes out and gathers a bunch of bottles and turns them in, gets some recycle money to give to Curtis Lowe so he can have his drinking money and play a dobro and play blues for him as a kid. That's just a great. I mean, I liked how he weaved that narrative into the song. I like the line too. Go ahead.
It's kind of based on the true story. When one of them was younger, I think it was Ronnie Van Zant. They used to do something like that. It wasn't exactly like Curtis Lowe, but there was something like that.
That's good. That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. And I like the line too. Old preacher said some words and they chunked them in the clay. That most songs about death and the ceremonies around it are kind of sentimental, but he's commenting on the whole sort of the arid quality of it, is the perfunctory nature of it, given that Curtis Lowe was not a person of high esteem in the culture, but he should have been. And there's so many other great blues artists that were lost to history because they didn't get their due.
Oh, like Robert Johnson.
Definitely.
Well, for every one Robert Johnson, there was 50 itinerant bluesmen that just got lost to history.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because one of my favorite guys is Clem Beetlebug Pork Rind. I think that's the name that he went by. Clem Beetlebug Pork Rind, something like that. And thank you, Mark. Yes. Poor Maui. Okay, so Miss Addie, you are number 12, dear.
Freebird. Yeah, it's just a beautiful song to me.
Oh, it is. It is.
And I know it's been overplayed, but it's you can't change it.
Yeah. Oh,
A
yeah.
little higher on my list, but
Yeah,
fantastic song.
I mean, because there's like the 9-minute version on the album. One More for the Road has like the 13-minute version. And then there's a special version I've heard that's like 29 minutes.
Oh, it's Grateful Dead territory. Outstanding. 29 minutes of that triple guitar attack. Awesome.
Can you, and Mark, and you're a musician, can you imagine how much their fingers must have been hurting after playing that thing for 29 frickin' minutes?
Yeah, but not so bad. It's doable. The Allman Brothers used to do it all the time. That was regularly for them. Like they would take a song like Whipping Post and make it sometimes 35, 40 minutes.
Wow, really?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, thank you there, Miss Snapdragon. And there's the list of the original band on the album. It's called pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd. Okay, Pirate Radio, you're number 12, sir.
My number 12 goes, have you ever been down in the ghetto? Have you ever saw the cold wind blow? If you don't know what I mean, you better stand up and scream.
What song
Because
is
there's
that?
things going on you don't know.
What song
Things
is
going
that?
on.
Oh,
Which album was that off of?
Oh, I can't tell you that. One of the first ones. It might. I got a feeling it's on first and last for sure, and I think it's on one of the first ones.
okay,
Okay.
because the only one that I have is First and Last. And
Is
what's
things
the name
going
of it?
on there?
I don't know.
Read the song.
Yes, it is. It's the last song.
Yeah.
Good.
And the way you sang it, thank God it's the last song.
It's actually a good song. It is good.
Well, fun fact too about their albums: their first album, pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd, came out exactly 50 years and 5 days ago.
Oh,
So
wow.
we just missed
Wow.
their 50th anniversary. August the 13th, 1973.
And okay, Jen, she actually put that in. If you look at the name of the program, that's how I put it in.
Pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Okay, Mrs. Hopkins. So you're gonna play? Can we hear you, or are you gonna hold up a sign? Okay. Oh, we can't see the sign now. What song is it?
Mississippi Blood. Oh, okay. So it's a 2015 song.
A lot of their a lot of their later albums were actually like everything else. They weren't really listened to a lot, but they were good.
I got the later stuff. Stop.
The later, well, they weren't even a band for like a decade after that plane crash,
Right.
and
Yeah, they stopped.
so I guess it's a question in the minds of the fans whether it was really Lynyrd Skynyrd or sort of a very fancy tribute band to Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Okay,
Um,
because they came back with the album called XX.
mhm.
Uh,
And Johnny Van Zant singing instead of Ronnie. At
right.
least they had a sibling of the lead singer stepping
Right.
up to the
And it
mic, so
wasn't
that
David Coverdale.
yes.
So Leonard Skinnerd, the original is Leonard Skinnerd. Everything else is tribute band in my mind.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, I think that plane crash that took out Steve Gaines, Cassie Gaines, and Ronnie Van Zant, it just tore the band out. I mean,
Oh, okay. Well, there's Ghost. Oh, say hello to Ghost. Oh, we saw the ghost in the background. Okay, so
Wait, I felt the chill.
my number 12 is actually from this one. I think so. Um, yes, it's the second song on the album called Preacher's Daughter.
Or Bimbo, when the ghost goes by, you can hear the horse go.
Yeah, Frau Blucher. Okay, um, Captain Chris.
all righty. My Jennifer's number 11 was Simple Man off of the first album. Um, and that's on my list. No, I don't think that's on my list actually, but Simple Man off of Lynyrd Skynyrd's first album. And my number 11 was Don't Ask Me No Questions off
Oh,
of
I
Second
love that
Helping.
song. And you know what? When I was getting dressed and being on time, actually, only 8:04. I was listening to that song on YouTube.
It's a great song. I guess Ronnie wrote a lot of songs about the perils of the business, um, and I guess he was talking about how when he wanted to go off the road, he wanted to kind of decompress, and everybody wanted to talk about, ask him questions about his business, and he's like, you know, don't ask me about my business, and I won't tell you goodbye. It's like,
Yeah.
just want to hang out and fish and drink and not talk about being on the
Oh,
road.
okay, Miss
I got
Addie
it. Don't tell me no. Don't ask me no questions, and I won't tell you no lies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, Miss Addie, your next one. Miss Addie, where you at, Addie?
Addie.
Oh, I forgot I was on mute. Swamp Music from the 1974 album Second Helping.
Oh wow, what a coincidence, Addie, because that's my number 11 too.
See, great minds think alike.
Yeah.
Okay, Pirate. So you got swamp music.
Yeah, swamp music.
Yeah.
Okay,
Shibby
Mrs.
dibby doo wop.
Hopkins, hold up yours.
Wop wop doo wop.
And we're not doing any doo-wop music either. Okay, Miss Hopkins, hold up your sign, please. I can't believe that you can't get audio. Is your YouTube turned off? Saturday Night Special.
Yep.
Yes.
Nice.
Excellent
Good one,
song.
Mr. Hopkins.
Great song.
Got great guitar in that song.
And so now, anytime that she spells something wrong, we can laugh at her.
Oh, but she's got an exemption because Lynyrd Skynyrd is spelled LYNYRD SKYNYRD.
Okay. My number 11 is. You got that right. You got that
Show.
right.
Got that right.
Sure, got that right. Okay, very good, gang. Moving along at a good clip. Chris, you're two there.
Okay. Jennifer's number 10 was Don't Ask Me No Questions off of Second Helping. And my number 10 song will also be mentioned frequently is Tuesday's Gone off of pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd. It's a classic anthem and a little a different pacing from a lot of their songs. And it's a sort of a slow ballad.
Oh, what song was it, Chris? Tuesday's Gone.
Tuesday's Gone.
Yeah.
Off
I mean,
of pronounced.
I mean, now that's an album that you can literally put on, and every song is good.
Mhm.
And that was my number 10 also.
What,
Okay.
Tuesday's Gone. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's mine too.
Oh, Jesus. Well, hey, it makes it easier for me. I talk less. Okay, Mrs. Hopkins, let's hold up your sign, dear. if it's Tuesday's gone, oh, just nod your head.
It's backwards. So Life's Twisted.
What is that from? Easy Street. Oh, Miss Historian, what is Life's Twisted from? Any idea?
Sounds like a later one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard that song.
I guess that's one question
Mrs.
I'll be.
Mrs. Hopkins, you were listening to the wrong end of the good Lynyrd Skynyrd stuff. It's the early stuff.
Oh, comes from 2015. Yeah.
Well, I'm curious to know which of the post Ronnie Van Zant albums are worth a listen to. They stand up to the later early albums.
I've heard a good chunk of everything, and I don't think anything is really.
Okay, it's one that she's listening to, and it's got like the futuristic cover. Looks like a Frank Frazetta picture. That's the one that I think she's talking about. That's actually pretty good. So choose. Okay. Where am I? Okay. My number 10. Now this isn't a one from some of the later albums too, called We Ain't Much Different. That's one of the older ones. No, newer ones. Newer, older. Okay, Jen says that it comes from The Last of the Dying Breed. Thank you, Miss Historian.
Good thing we have Jen here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And okay, yeah, because hot mess. Because for some reason, Mrs. Hopkins can't get her audio working.
Well, she can hear us. We can't hear her, so it's probably a microphone issue, microphone volume, or unplug replug cable microphone. But that's why troubleshooting is always tough when an event is underway, because you frantically try to push buttons and unplug replug stuff to try to make it work, and then it's hard to divine it.
Chris, okay, Chris, but you're a computer technician,
Mhm.
and and you know that my way of solving things always seems to work. The hammer.
Hammer time. Boo doo 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 doo.
I, and now I hope to God that none of us ever wore those MC Hammer pants.
No, no, no.
I
I
okay,
didn't.
okay,
No
Chris.
parachute
I
pants
did
for
not
me.
see you wearing hammer pants.
My kids
Kropka.
did.
And can you imagine Mark Kropka wearing MC Hammer pants?
I can see him moving across the stage doing that dance.
Yeah, yeah, right, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, yeah.
It'll go good with my dashiki.
Well, Mrs. Hopkins, Jen says that you might wonder if you went with your old earbud setup, if that would bring back your mic or no, no.
Okay, but your Leonard Skynyrd poster's nice in the back. Oh, good job with that.
Um, new mixer. Okay. I'll have to keep
Well,
testing it out then.
well, um, um, maybe if you didn't have to make cornbread there for Miss B, your mixer might work.
Could be a restream versus YouTube or versus a different product. But we won't belabor the point too much more. But
Okay,
we can get to number 9.
Chris, and your
Mine and Jen's
yeah,
number 9.
number 9.
Number 9. Yes, Jennifer's number 9 was "What's Your Name" off of Street Survivors,
I don't believe this.
and my number 9 is "I Know a Little" off of Street Survivors. Both excellent songs. I like the intro of "I Know a Little."
Yeah, yeah,
It's that real peppy up tempo, and it's got some awesome licks, awesome guitar licks in it.
yeah.
And "What's Your Name?" That's a great
What's your
rock and roll
name,
story.
little girl? What's your name?
Having fun with the groupie backstage,
Yeah.
back at the
Oh,
hotel room.
okay, because you've heard me talk about the used record store guy that I go to here in Tampa.
Mhm.
He has a copy of Street Survivors with the fire in the background,
Mm-hmm.
and he won't sell it because they're so hard to find.
Right, right. Well, I mean, in the wake of the plane crash, they didn't want to do that
Right,
cover, but some of them
right.
had already gotten out, so it became like that album by the Beatles with all the chopped up babies
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, called Yesterday and Today.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, Addie Pickle, you're number 9, dear.
What's your name? Same as Jen.
I thought your name was Addie.
No, my real name is Lulu. Lulu Llewellyn.
Oh, so
Lulu Llewellyn. That's your stage name,
I
Addie.
know, I've had that name for years. Lulu Llewellyn.
you know what? Oh, you know what? And so it was funny because yesterday, or no, it wasn't yesterday, but one day this week, um, I was expecting a phone call from Al's doctor, and with the doctors, I have to give them my real name, Barbara, and so Al says, "No, there's nobody here." But I said, "Al, that's my real name," and he says, "Oh, it is?" I says, "Oh, Jesus Christ."
Oopsie.
Oh, really? You said that,
Yeah,
eh? Holy shit.
yeah. Oh, that's your name? No, my name is really Bimbo. That's what it says on the license. Okay, so Mr. Pirate Radio, number 9.
My number 9 is a song called, a rocker song called Whiskey Rock and Roller.
Yes, that's a good song.
Yes.
That was one that was on the cusp of the cut, but it's gone.
Just like Tuesday.
Yeah. I mean, because yeah, because Lulu Llewellyn said that she could have done what, like 40. Yeah, I could have easily done 20, and that's without Freebird as well either. So
I had 14 strong cuts, and then I had to figure out which of those two I
yeah,
had to remove. That was hard.
yeah. Okay, okay, Mrs. Hopkins, your sign. What's your sign?
Still
unbroken.
unbroken.
God and Guns, yeah. Yes. Now that's a good song. You guys need to listen to that song.
I've heard it.
Okay.
I haven't.
It's all right.
I like it. Okay, and my number 9 is I talked myself right into it.
Good
And
album.
I forget which one that's. I think it's from the third or fourth one.
What's it
I
called?
talked myself right into it.
And you think it's from their fourth
Yeah.
album?
Yeah.
Yeah, their fourth album would be Give Me Back My Bullets.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, Mr. Coach says his favorite song is "Gimme Two Steps." Won't you give me 2 steps? Give me 2 steps, mister.
I think that's 3 steps.
It's actually a true story too.
Yeah,
It really
yeah.
happened to Ron. He was in a bar one day.
Oh, okay, Missy. And so what? The old lady drool is getting too much for you? Okay, dear. Well, thank you for coming up there, hot mess. And we'll
Hot-
see you when you're not all covered with old person drool.
See you, Misty.
Bye. Take care.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Mrs. Hopkins says goodbye too.
Okay, my number 9, or did I just do number 9? I don't know. Yeah, okay. Captain Chris and Jen Snapdragon, you're number 8.
Number 8. Jennifer's number 8 was That Smell off of Street Survivors. And
Well,
that
no.
was
Oh, okay. That smell was Hot Mess Missy because you had all that old lady drool on her.
well, that was a perfect segue
Yeah.
right into that's can't you smell that smell?
Yes.
Smell
Oh,
of death
Missy. Yes.
surrounds you.
Yes, Missy. Oh, yeah. My God. Oh, my God. I can smell you through my computer. Go take a shower, girl.
That was my 13th or 14th close runner up.
Yeah.
And my number 8 was What's Your Name, for the reasons we've already mentioned. It's just a very true to life, having a good time, trying to stay away from the authorities.
Well,
kind of
it's
song.
3:00 in Boise, Idaho. Okay, Miss Addie, you're number 8 there.
My number 8 is a cover they did, "Call Me the Breeze." It was originally
Great song.
And wow,
written
Very
by
good
a
song.
blues player.
wow, and I'm impressed that you knew that was a cover.
That was actually written by J.J. Cale.
Oh,
Yep.
really?
It was
Oh,
from
Oh.
Oklahoma.
Yep.
Wow.
he wrote the song Cocaine, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cocaine. He wrote many songs. After Midnight.
Goodbye, Misfit. Yeah, go
Uh,
up, sit there on the windowsill, Misfit.
You could dress her tail up like an ostrich.
Okay. Pirate
Mrs.
Radio, you're number 8.
friggin' Sexter. Is Give Me Back My Bullets. Title track off the album. Give Me Back My Bullets.
And
Boom.
and out of all of the Ronnie Van Zant ones, that was my least favorite one.
That
Yeah.
was the only strong cut off that album, as I
Yeah,
recall.
that's what I thought.
mean, it,
No, that's not true. They have
We're right and you're wrong.
Cry for the Bad Man's a pretty good song. I can name a few if I really
We're
think
right
about
and
it.
you're wrong.
but no, I'm kind of curious as to what cuts off of that. Since you're a musician, you've played these songs, you
Yeah.
know that which ones off that album kind of have something special. I mean, none of those songs got much radio airplay. It was kind of like not. It was snubbed in some way, except for "Give Me Back My Bullets." That got regular rotation.
Yeah.
But the other three of that era, Second Helping, Nothing Fancy, Pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd,
Oh, yeah.
that's the core of their
Yeah.
work. I mean, that's 99% of their
Yes.
greatest hits album.
Okay, hot mess. We'll see you later. Thank you, dear. Okay, Addie, you're 8.
Simple Man from the first album.
Mm-hmm.
It
It
just
seems every man that I meet is a simple man. And I'm not talking, I'm talking, like intellectually.
Simple Needs.
Simpleton man. Oh,
that's the kind of man I'm looking for.
well, then if he don't ask you no questions, you can't tell him no lies.
Exactly.
Okay, so who are we on? We're on. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah.
Mrs. Hopkins, number 8.
Mrs. Hopkins, number 8. Made in the Shade.
Shade. Nothing fancy.
You don't hear that song ever.
No, you
That's a
don't.
deeper cut. That's a good song,
Yeah.
but it's a deep, deep cut.
Great choice.
And if you want some trivia, that's the title of a Rolling Stones greatest hits album. How about that?
Yeah, that's true. Made in the Shade.
Oh, hello, Instant Karma. How are you, dear? Nice to see you. You're always welcome.
Hey, Karma.
My number 8 is and she left. The ode to Hot Mess Missy. That smell. I'm mean. Oh, did you just say that I'm mean?
No, I said you mean it.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I mean it. I thought you said that I was mean.
Never.
Oh, and like that's gonna hurt my feelings.
I know, but I'd never say that.
Okay, Captain Chris, you're 2.
A song, Jennifer's number 7's one I've already mentioned as well. I Know a Little off Street Survivors. That was her number 7. My number 7 is Whiskey Rock and Roller. Great song, and it's got a line in here. I got me a queenie. She got long brown curly hair. She likes to drink Old Granddad, and her shoes do shuffle around. So I wanted to make sure to have the Old Granddad worked on tonight. This is the fancy stuff too. This is the 114. This was hard to pick up in Georgia for like a year.
Really?
Now my local liquor store covers it. It's great.
And you know what I bought today? That is, because I remember, how like non-alcoholic beers always tasted like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up non-alcoholic Guinness.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes exactly like the Guinness. It does. It tastes exactly like it.
Well, you've got the other flavors in the Guinness. It's more kind of bready and
Malty,
stout
yeah,
and
yeah,
malt, so you've got other flavors to work with.
yeah.
And
But it tastes. Yeah, you can taste that there's no alcohol, but it's not really missing a whole lot.
I think in 0.0 is good too. But yeah, the NA beers are better than their reputation,
Oh
especially if
yeah,
it's a hot day and you crack open an ice cold one.
yeah,
For a minute you don't really know that it's non-alcoholic. It's just
right,
you don't quite get that buzz at that expected point. So
right. Yeah, because I'm finding out, that they're actually a lot better than I thought.
I showed
I don't know why they're more expensive because there's no alcohol, but
I shudder to think what a non-alcoholic whiskey would taste like,
oh,
especially one that was like 114 proof, going to 0 proof. That would just be it would create an implosion that would destroy part of the universe.
Why drink whiskey if you don't get a buzz?
Yeah.
That's just my thought.
yeah, see, and like I've never been a liquor drinker.
Liquor's quicker.
Yeah,
I'm a
I
runner.
didn't drink whiskey I didn't drink liquors much until maybe my late 30s, early 40s. Then in my 40s, I was able to learn to appreciate whiskey and jazz. So good decade for me.
I started drinking liquor when I was 14.
You got a head start on us.
no,
How's your liver?
I did when I was 5, when my uncle Lynyrd was giving me Stolichinoia when I was 5 years old. And my mother was saying, Leo, don't give the baby any vodka.
I got in
We're
the hard
going.
cider at 9. My dad had a fit, but boy, it tasted good.
Okay, Miss Addie, you're number 7, dear.
I Ain't the One from the first album.
That's a good song.
I like it.
Addie, and do you have any Led Zeppelin, any Leonard Skinner CDs or albums or?
Nope, not anymore.
Yeah,
Did when I was
because
young.
because I've got this one and I've got a greatest hits one called Golden Platinum, and I didn't bring that out because
Can't hear them now.
I don't like considering like greatest hits albums part of the canon. Okay. Pirate Radio, you're number 7.
Obscure track. I forget what album it's off of. It's called Truck Driving Man. Ronnie Van Zant's father was a truck driver. And he wrote the song for his father. Talks about sleeping with women on the road. Talks about lots of White Cross and coffee. And talks about speeding and getting the load delivered. Truck Driving Man. It's got a piano solo in it that kills, and lots of great guitar work.
Oh,
I don't know if you've ever heard it or not, because it is kind of
I've
obscure.
never heard it.
I'll
Okay,
have to pull it up. Yeah, it sounds like
it looks
good.
like Mrs. Hopkins might be getting
Pull
some
it up.
professional help here. Yeah, because she needs all the help she can get. All the professional help. So let's give it a break here while he's fixing that. Mark, and so how did your weekend program go? Your weekend shows?
Yeah, and they went really good. We were in the studio on Saturday, and it went really well. We broke in some Machine Head songs. Maybe I'm a Leo and Space Truck.
Oh, okay, good.
I liked your cover of Space Truckin'. That was, yeah, you were getting really close to where it needed to be just in that rehearsal. So
Yeah, that was just our first go at it.
that was
I think
very
Our
good,
second
very
go
good
at it.
for a first draft. Outstanding.
Was that the clip you
Yeah,
recently
thank you.
put on? 'Cause that was good.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, Mark, because I didn't know that you had anything new, so I'll have to go listen to it. And maybe,
yeah, it's a piece of space trucking.
and may,
The bass player kind of screwed up, so we stopped the
I
and
song.
heard you
maybe,
yell at him.
and maybe
Oh.
if you guys are lucky when this show is over, I'll sing that song that I wrote called "When the Mirror Cries," because I don't like bragging about myself, but people say I should. I think that these are probably some of my best lyrics I've written in a long, long time.
Well, there you go.
Will it make me cry?
Part of the verses are "Hey, beautiful girl," so yeah, probably.
Your singing always makes me cry, Bimbo.
Yeah, yeah, and it makes fish, like resurface
Close
dead,
to the top, yeah.
and it makes poor little animals outside explode.
Yeah, pigeons explode and fish floating to the top of the pond.
Okay, Mrs. Hopkins, no, no. Is that the paper rumbling?
Here's something.
Hello?
That might be Mrs. No, she's speaking, and we can't hear her.
One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, I hear. Yeah, really, really faint. I can hear it. It's like really, really faint. Really, really faint.
I guess we should welcome Mr. Hopkins to the program.
Yeah.
Welcome, Mr. Hopkins.
Okay, so
Let's see, are we ready for number 6?
no, no. What's Mrs. Hopkins 7? Yes, okay, because I can hear it in the background, but it's really, really light.
What do you hear?
Just like
Music?
almost like noise, but
If it's music, it might be
yeah.
me.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe it is. Lucky Man. Okay. Is that what it was? Oh, Lucky Man.
That's a good song.
I don't know what that one's from either.
Greater stuff.
Okay. Okay, my number 7 is Bring It On Home to Saturday Night Special. And who remembers that show, Don Kirshner's Saturday Night Special?
Rock on.
Yeah.
So there's Don Kirshner's Rock on.
Yeah.
I do.
Don Kirshner's rock show? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I first saw Redbone.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that clip is still on YouTube. You can watch it there if you want. Or here.
Remember?
Here on
Does everyone else on panel know about the old gray whistle test? It was
No.
on BBC, and you got to YouTube old gray whistle test later on, and it has some just amazing performances of artists early in their career, and just neat stuff. I mean, yeah, old gray whistle
Great
test,
artist.
Bob Marley, and a killer version of Frankenstein by Edgar Winter. Just
Cool.
sterling. I mean, that's
I know that the band Joy Division was on there,
mhm.
and Joy Division became New Order.
Elton John did
Okay.
it once. George Harrison was on there.
So lest we
Go on and on. I mean,
lest we regress, we are at number 6,
Okay.
halfway through.
All right. My number 6, well, Jennifer's number 6 is "Call Me the Breeze" off of Second Helping. And my number 6 is "You've Got That Right." That song's already been mentioned, but there's one lyric from that song that really haunts me. That album, it was recorded just very shortly before they died before the plane crash.
I
And
think months. I think
yeah,
months.
just a few months. And there's the lyric in the song, "When my time's up, I'm on my own.
Yes,
You won't
yes,
find me
yes,
in an old folks' home."
yes, yes,
Ooh,
yes,
you sure didn't.
That's right.
You found
yes,
them at the bottom of a crash site. I mean,
yeah,
just oof,
That's eerie.
yes,
yeah,
Chris, that's true.
spooky.
Yes, that lyrics. Okay, Miss Addie, Miss Lulu Love Chest, go ahead.
Give me 3 steps. And I like it just because Gary wrote it after Ronnie had gun pulled on him in a bar for dancing with
Hmm.
another man's woman. If
Won't
that
you
ain't Leonard Skinner, I don't know what is.
give me 3 steps, give me 3 steps, mister, give me 3 steps towards
Towards
the
the door.
door.
But was it
Oh,
actually
give
at
me
a
three
place
steps, give me 3 steps, mister, and you won't see me no more.
down at the Jug with a girl named Linda Lou?
See,
Great
there you
stuff.
go, Maddie. They mentioned you in the song too. How
That was
about
my mom.
oh. Oh,
Your mom was a well-coveted woman.
Yes, she was.
okay. Okay, so Mr. Pirate Radio, you're number 6, sir.
I don't know if you've heard this song before. It's called Poison Whiskey.
Yeah.
It's got
Yes, I've heard that.
got a great guitar intro, and then moves on to a real clever chord change type of song.
Hope there's no poison in here. We'll see. Some poisons are slow acting.
Right.
Oh my God. And when I used to drink, Chris,
Mm-hmm.
have you ever had absinthe?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God. And you think and people say that Jägermeister tastes terrible. Absinthe, it comes from something called wormwood.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, it tastes like like you got worms.
Now I've heard
Oh, hello Izzy, how are you? Nice to
different
see you.
different stories back and forth on absinthe. Like,
What
oh,
misfit?
absinthe is only messes you up just because of the ethanol content. The wormwood doesn't do anything, and then others say, "Oh well, the wormwood gives it this different kick to it." Um, I've never had absinthe with wormwood. I've never had absinthe, so I don't know from firsthand empirical observation. So,
I mean,
but,
because Marilyn Manson over in Europe, he can't do it here. He
mm-hmm,
has his own brand of absinthe.
mm-hmm.
Because because it's illegal in the United States.
Yeah, didn't they used to poison people with it or something? I used to read about it in old books. I don't know.
I don't know. Well,
I
another
think it was the
beverage
mental
that's
patients.
one other beverage you see in Europe and particularly in Scotland, but you don't see here is that wine with that tonic wine with the caffeine in it, Buckfast.
What?
Yeah, yeah,
Ooh,
Buckfast is 15% alcohol and very high caffeine. So hooligans like to drink it because they get drunk enough to do terrible things, and
yep,
the
white lake
caffeine
drunks.
keeps them awake enough to do terrible things.
Or or they stay drunk enough so that they can eat haggis.
Yeah.
I used
I-
to play an online game from Scotland where you had to try and catch the haggis.
Oof.
And I'm not gonna get into haggis because that's like growing up. I ate gefilte fish, so I can't say anything. Okay, Mrs. Hopkins. Okay, we'll wait till she comes back and catch up with her. So what are we on? Number 6.
Mhm.
My number 6 is Tuesday's Gone with the Wind.
Train roll on.
Okay, Jen and Chris.
This is a quick one. Jennifer and I tied on number 5. We both gave our number 5 nod to Give Me 3 Steps. And for all the reasons mentioned earlier. Hey there, fellow with a hair colored yellow. That was always a funny
Hey
rhyme
there,
to me.
fella with the hair colored yellow.
He was kind of reaching for that rhyme, but
Yeah, exactly.
it was still amusing.
Yeah, okay, because I read somewhere where Alice Cooper said when he writes songs, sometimes, he just comes up with like shit that makes no sense because he needs a word to rhyme.
Mm-hmm. He's got
Okay.
no class, no innocence, no principles. I can't even think of a word that rhymes.
Right. And he said that's very true.
Yep.
Okay, Addie, you're number
5.
5, dear.
Which I think should be the national anthem. Give me back my bullets.
Put them back where they belong.
See, and now, believe it or not, I have never shot a gun.
Really?
But
It's a lot of fun.
I
It's,
am killer with a crossbow, but I don't practice anymore because I'm afraid of hitting somebody outside.
Man, I taught my kids to shoot. We got computer monitors. We
Oh
put
yeah.
12
Oh,
gauge slugs
absolutely.
in them. We'd buy Halloween costumes just for the policemen and firemen attachments, and then we'd shoot them because I also had a 22 with a magazine. My dad was like, "People are going to think I'm starting a militia here," because we'd have them all up in the field. Pictures of
Right.
Jesus. We were shooting anything we could find at the dollar store.
I wonder
Okay.
what would be worse, being shot with a 22 caliber bullet or being shot with a crossbow arrow.
I think the crossbow would hurt more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
stuck in there. Oh my God, you try to
Yeah.
pull it out and it would pull
Yeah.
all your guts out while you're yanking out.
Okay, Mrs. Hopkins, what's your number 6?
Jen, that's funny.
Yeah, what we need is bullet control.
Mrs. Hopkins, what's your number 6 there? All right, well, I'll catch up with you. No worries. Okay, so what are we on? 5?
Yep. You're number 5.
It is a song from, I guess, considered their comeback album called 20, and it's just got XX on it. It's a song called Smokestack Lightning.
Oh, they covered Lightning Hopkins' immortal tune.
Oh, this song kills.
Oh.
Oh, speaking of bullets, it's called Smokestack Lightning. Give it a listen to because it's the first one with Ronnie Van Zant. No, Johnny. And just the way that it sounds just is so reminiscent of like what Skynyrd was going to become.
Mm-hmm.
So Smokestack Lightning, Bimbo's number 5. Okay, Chris and Jen, number 4.
Jennifer's number 4.
Okay,
Sweet.
okay, Mrs. Hopkins, I got it.
Okay, Jennifer's number 4 is off of Second Helping, Sweet Home Alabama. And my number 4 is Saturday Night Special off of Nothing Fancy. I've always liked that song. It has sort of a sinister tone to it. And I like that it's like a sort of a pro gun control song out of a band that was kind of like would have been thought of as being conservative. I mean, even at the time. But
Okay, so
I
what
guess
song was that, Chris?
Saturday Night Special
Oh,
off
yeah,
of
yeah,
Nothing
yeah,
Fancy.
yeah. Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of interesting that he ventured to write that song, but I guess even Ronnie Van Zant was willing to admit that it's kind of a dumb idea to have a whole ocean of cheap guns and people drinking and behaving badly at the same time.
Exactly. That's why I like that song.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. And here's more about that thing that Chris Rock said. Because I saw this and it was funny. And so, yes, it was Chris Rock who said, "Oh, they find a guy dead with 3 bullets, and now at $50 a bullet, you really needed to hate him."
Yeah, I like all of Chris Rock's
Oh
comedy. I
my
mean, he's got
God,
some
yes,
great
he is.
stuff.
Yes. Oh, yes, he is so. And you know what I love about Chris Rock is, um, I mean, he insults, black people just as badly as he insults white people.
Hmm.
Sometimes even worse. Oh, Chris Rock is so. You know what I'm gonna have to do now? I'm gonna have to go on YouTube and watch a Chris Rock thing.
Hmm. His documentary, um, Good Hair, is really
Oh,
good too.
great.
Jennifer and I were the only white folks in the audience when we saw it in the theater, but just an interesting look at the black hair care industry.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know it was released in theater. I saw it
yeah,
on Netflix or
Um,
some streaming, but I
mhm.
thought that was excellent. I found it interesting.
It's
and then
fascinating.
yeah, and then he was in it. He was in a movie called Dogma, a Kevin Smith movie. Oh, with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and
Hmm.
they play angels. And so Chris Rock comes down from heaven, and he's like the 13th angel. And I forget what his name is, but it's like Leon or something. Leon the angel.
That's a hard movie to find. My kids actually had it on CD. We watched it last year because they couldn't
Dogma.
find it any place.
Oh yeah. That movie is so funny.
I think George Carlin was in that movie too,
Yes, he
right?
was.
He had
Yes,
a
he
funny
was.
scene in there.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, he has like cameos in like all Kevin Smith movies. Okay, so where are we? We are at number 4, Addie Pickall.
I think I messed up because
No.
yeah, because number 4 should have been "Give Me Back My Bullets."
Okay. So just pick a song, any song.
That Smell.
Okay.
Number 3 is now 4.
Okay. And you can't say Freebird twice either, so.
No, that's staying at the bottom, even though I love it.
Yeah, I know. It was your number 12. Gee, I don't even think that's made my list yet. Huh. Um, um, Mark, what was your number 5?
What's your name?
Okay, and what's your number 4? That's what we're on now.
Timmy Three Steps.
We're getting a lot of the same songs, which I figured a band like this we would do.
They had
But
4 albums, and 3 of which were the albums that had the majority of their hits. So we're
right,
going to duplicate each other quite a bit.
right. But everybody has like their deep cuts that they've added, which is good.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it's
Okay,
like
And
some
hits were hits for a reason. So,
yeah. Okay, Mrs. Hopkins, are you there? What's your number 4 there, dear? Just put it in the chat and put 4, and I'll get to it. My number 4 comes from here, which was one of the last songs that they actually recorded. Down South Jukin'.
It's a good song. Deeper cut.
Blame it on a sad song, okay?
Blame it on the rain.
Oh, blame it on
the
Misfit.
rain.
Nilly fit Nilly.
Okay, good. Okay, good there, Mrs. Hopkins. You're all caught up. Homegrown. Yeah, that's a good song too. And that's one of those albums, Last of a Dying Breed. That's that's good. They were getting more, I think, countryish back in like the 2012, 2015. They were getting more countryish.
They're actually playing this Thursday, about an hour from me, in Canandaigua, New York.
Oh, cool.
But I ain't going.
I didn't think they'd ever go north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Well, things have changed.
And
I
how
guess
come you're going at? And how come you're not going, Eddie? What? You don't have a date?
No, it's not Lynyrd Skynyrd to me.
Oh, not well.
I saw Johnny at a local place about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was enough. That's why I learned how to smuggle booze in my bra. First.
There you go.
Yup, so it was cool.
See, now these are important. These are important things that you will only learn by watching the College of Rock Knowledge on the Bimbo Barbarella music program. Smuggling
Life
booze in a
lessons.
bra.
Yep, life
There we
lessons.
go. Okay, we are at Mr. Pirate Radio. You know, he did give me 3 steps. My 4 was Down South Dukin. It is
Number 3.
number 3 for Chris and Jen.
All right. Jennifer's number 3 is Give Me Back My Bullets off of the album of the same name. My number 3 is Call Me the Breeze off of Second Helping. It's this the lyric I like in that song is I've got that green light, baby. I got to keep moving on. Well, might go out to California, might go down to Georgia. I don't know. Just that feeling of freedom, being able to go and do whatever you want to do. You know, great song.
Yeah, good choice.
Definitely.
Addie, you're number 3 there. Addie, you're number 3.
Saturday Night Special.
Got a barrel that's blue and cold.
But now we know folding chairs are just as good as a gun.
Don't quite have the same distance, but
But can be effective.
but you get style points. The WWE has used that for years.
Yeah. Okay. Pirate Radio, you're number 3, sir.
I guess this could be considered a little obscure. I don't know how many of you heard it. Honky Tonk Nighttime Man.
Yes.
Good one.
And that was on my right on the cusp. That's a good song. And what is that from? 2, I think? 2 or 3?
No, it's from Street Survivors.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. And that's a song that you would only know if you had heard it.
Yeah. Definitely worth listening.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, Mrs. Hopkins, you're number 3, dear. Okay, now Jen left this message in here about the Rock and Roll Hall of Shame, which don't get me started about that. Okay, Black Sabbath I can see. Blondie. Okay, now this group of inductees wasn't bad. But, but some of the choices they've made, oh my God. I mean, I'm sorry. I like Guns N' Roses, but they made, what, 4 albums? Well, the Sex Pistols only made 1.5, but they were the Sex Pistols, so. Oh, The
Miles
Crawl.
Davis was a bit of an incongruous choice, but his music was legendary on its own. I love Miles Davis and
Oh,
John
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Coltrane.
Yeah.
Love hard bop era jazz. So
Mrs. Hopkins says her number 3 is the song called The Crawl from The Vicious Cycle.
okay.
See, and now I wish that we could hear you because then we could hear a story why this song was written for you. I hope you weren't crawling around a barroom floor or something when this song was playing. Well, I like that, so that's the story that I'm sticking with. Okay, my number 3 is uh Don't Ask Me No Questions.
Okay, you know lies.
See, because, and now don't ask me no questions because you know that coming from me, you will always get the truth.
Perish the thought.
Yes, yeah. Okay, the truth as I see it. Might not be the actual truth, but it's the truth as I see it.
Well, there you go.
Oh, Mr. Bopak, here we go. Okay, and here's Professor Bopak showing up late and, of course, with something to say.
If peeing your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis. The birth of the cool. Who knew it was peeing in your pants?
And what movie is that from?
That's right, with Adam Sandler. with
Yes,
Little
yes, it is.
Floyd.
Yes, it is. Big Daddy. Big Daddy, yep. Yeah. Hey, look, I'm cool. I peed my pants too. See, and only Bopak would know that right off the top of his head. Okay, so where are we? Number
Number
2. We are at
2.
number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Coming down to the wire here. Who's it going to be?
Well,
Chris.
Jennifer's number 2 was Saturday Night Special off of Nothing Fancy. My number 2 was the aforementioned Sweet Home Alabama. Fun fact about that song, the Neil Young and Lynyrd Skynyrd actually had a mutual admiration society. They actually liked the music that the other created. Even though in the song that, they had the lyric, I heard Mr. Young sing about her, heard old Neil put her down. Well, I hope Neil Young will remember a Southern man don't need him around anyhow. They actually liked each other. That was actually, they were admirers of each other's music.
Right.
Even though from that song it sounded like they hated each other.
Right, and I know that too, because there's another band that's in Athens that Neil Young really likes, and they've mentioned him in a couple of their songs as well. A band called the Drive-By Truckers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Miss Addie, you're number 2, dear. Make them count. Make them good.
Was I right or wrong from Second Helping? I just like the whole meaning behind that song.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's mentioned that yet.
Yeah, that's a deep cut for number 2. What drew you to that song?
Just that, as a kid, you think you're going to show your parents you can do this or that. And he realized that his parents are gone while it was just the whole sentiment that sometimes what you're trying to prove is what you really lost in trying to prove it.
Hmm.
Holy
That was just
Christ.
my interpretation.
Oh, that's deep. That's very deep thinking there.
I think
And like when I grew up, my parents knew that I was, going to be, worthless and, the loser that I turned out to be. So, and that's one thing good about being a loser is that, you know, people, they're not disappointed.
There you
I
go.
never went through that phase where I thought my parents were stupid because my mother was a veterinarian and my father had a PhD in organic chemistry. So I knew that they were going to be smarter than me, period. I mean, I managed to fail a semester of chemistry in high school, and my father was a chemist. So I knew I had to do something other than the hard sciences. But
He must have been unpleased with that.
yeah, well, I managed to pass it the next semester and all. But
Okay, good.
yeah, made myself useful fixing computers.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, my
And
dad
like,
thought I was going to be a slut, so I said, I'll show you.
I'll show you
and
what being a slut's all about.
And like I said, like anytime you helped me, it's always been very helpful. But, sometimes what works best is what? Hammer time.
Yep.
Well, that's what I told Jen to do with her tooth problem. Just hammer time.
Yeah, I
She wants
saw a
to
guy on YouTube with pliers and string. He really confused
Yeah,
me out.
yeah, really,
I could
yeah.
go the rest of my life and not see that. Oof.
Okay, he had pliers and string, and he tied the string to
Around his
like,
tooth, and he had his
yeah.
buddy with the pliers hold on to the tooth while the guy who had the bad tooth pulled the string. In case the string didn't work, they had plan B, backup with the pliers.
Okay, because I saw one where a guy had a bad tooth, so he tied a string around it, and then he tied the string to like a horse's leg, and he swatted the horse in the ass, and he got rid of the bad teeth, plus 6 more that he didn't want to lose.
Oh, the horse kicked him.
So yeah, Bopox says a door handle and rope. That'll do it. Okay, so where are we? Who's number 2? Is it
Yeah,
Pirate Radio?
Mark's still with us?
My number 2. You sure?
Yeah,
We hear
Mark.
you.
Yes,
We
number
hear
2.
you.
Yeah.
My number 2 is off the Street Survivors album, a song called I Know Little.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
I can
like that
guess the
song
rest.
too.
Good one.
And that was on my cusp as well. Like I said, Addie, I could have done like 20 easy, but
I love Lynyrd Skynyrd just because it reminds me when I was young and the outdoor parties, and they'd be blasting that because somehow somebody had speakers they'd set up and all, and just Lynyrd Skynyrd, and we'd all be partying till somebody called the cops and then running, and it was just great.
It captured a moment in time. I think even people who grew up later than that initial generation, they heard that music in a specific setting and a specific time, and then they hear "Call Me the Breeze" or "Sweet Home Alabama." They're drawn right back to that moment. So
Yep. Raising
and
hell.
okay, yeah. So Mrs. Hopkins had 73. Holy crap. 73.
Wow. She really knows
oh
a
my
lot
heavens.
of different genres.
Yeah. And I'm sure that I've told this story before about my experience with the band Lynyrd Skynyrd. Because I did live in Jacksonville for like 6, 7 years. And so I moved out to California, and I got a job in the medical field out in California. And so, this is when Lynyrd Skynyrd, they were still very popular. They weren't, making any new music. And so this girl says, "Oh my God, I can't believe, oh my God, you're from Jacksonville?" I said, "Yeah, I lived there for a long time." She says, "Oh my God, I love Lynyrd Skynyrd. And did you ever meet Lynyrd Skynyrd?" And I felt like saying, "Yeah, I knew him all the time. I hung out with him." Not, and of course you had no idea that the city of Jacksonville has 1 million people. So the chance of me knowing Lynyrd Skynyrd,
Right, slim to none. Slim already left town. It's funny. I mean, you know, we go to Europe or a European comes here and they'll ask, "Oh, you're from a city that has millions of people? Did you ever meet X, Y, and Z?"
yeah,
It's like, no. It's just statistically infinitely close to zero.
yeah, yeah,
But it's fun to watch people's reaction when you ask them.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we're like this, man. Uh,
And
Really,
and that's when you say, "And the next time you see him, tell him that he owes me money." Okay, so what are we at? Number two?
We are number one.
no, we're at our number one.
Wait, no, what was Mrs. Hopkins' number two? And I didn't give my number two either. Come on. Mrs.
Yeah,
Hopkins, what's
Mrs.
your number two,
Hopkins,
dear?
number two.
Okay, Bopak says his simple man is number one.
That was on my list.
Yeah. I think everybody had that on their list. I don't, oh, did I?
I did not.
Mrs. Hopkins said, okay, from the first album. Okay, so that's the 9-minute version.
Oh my God, I feel old.
Well, you are old.
I know, but to see the album came out when I was a day old.
If you're on this panel and you're under the age of 50, you're the youngster. Yeah,
Well, got me beat.
elderly and old.
Yeah, because there's the 9-minute song on the initial album. There's the 12-minute song on the live album. And then there's the hard to find 29-minute song. The 29-minute version. Okay, so now we are at number one. Finally made it through this.
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. So worked in a Three Dog Night reference on a Lynyrd Skynyrd show.
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember Lynyrd Skynyrd singing that song.
No. But the number one song, both for Jennifer and myself, an immortal classic, played a mere 12,347,898 times on classic rock radio, off of pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd, Freebird. It's just a song that they created. It's a great song.
Oh,
It's
it is.
a song that they had the
Fantastic
greatest
song.
impact into the culture. It's it's just an immortal song, and it had that triple guitar attack.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was, and even though the song is indulgent, you just want to indulge further. It's, I mean, only Stairway was played more
Yeah.
than Freebird, but it is truly the rock anthem by which all other rock anthems are measured.
And the greatest thing that I have ever seen Freebird in is a Rob Zombie movie called Devil's Rejects. When the family is in the big Cadillac, and Captain Spaulding is driving, and the whole Fly family is in the back with their shotguns shooting at the cops, and they're playing Freebird, and you're just watching them get like pummeled with bullets, and it's just come on.
Well, does it?
And who hasn't seen Oh Devil's Rejects?
I haven't. I know there's a movie that has a fight scene that's choreographed to Freebird, and the fight scene just goes on and on and on because the song goes on and on and on. I can't
It's
remember the title of it.
it's a song. It's a movie. I think it's called Kingsman.
Okay. I think one of
I
the main
think
characters is a famous British actor. So
yeah, I think that's the movie Kingsman.
okay.
And it's like this underground like British spy team. Okay, so Miss Addie, what is your number one, dear?
The song that I think could be heard any place in the world, and they know it was Lynyrd Skynyrd, "Sweet Home Alabama, where the skies are so blue."
Great opening riff, great song.
And it makes you want to move.
Hmm.
Where to Alabama?
Move your feet.
I lived in Alabama for a little bit, so watch it there, Missy.
Hey, our sister lives in Birmingham. I've been to Birmingham, and Birmingham, Alabama is nothing to write home about. No offense, but
But they have nice mud. That was the first time I
oh
ever
my
saw
God,
red mud.
the
I was
mud, oh, the
impressed.
red clay, the red
If you
clay.
if you ever do go back to Alabama and to Birmingham, the Birmingham Museum of Art is actually better than the High Museum in Atlanta. It has a better permanent collection. It's free and it's just a great museum.
Birmingham,
Um,
Alabama?
Yeah, you would not have expected it, but it has a great museum in it. Um, a late friend of ours, Chris Clark, he lived in Ensley, and Ensley is a rather tough neighborhood in Birmingham. But he and his mom were really cool people, and he was a great artist.
Right.
But
Okay.
Birmingham is cool.
Okay, yeah, because there's a lot of references to Freebird in movies. Oh, Mrs. Hopkins said that Jenny on Forrest Gump tried to jump out the high-rise window to Freebird,
Hmm.
and I was right. Oh, the Kingsman. Um, and this guy, and like they're in some church, and there's a drug that makes everybody crazy, and so they're just like killing each other, and they're playing Freebird as there's just this like there's like 200 murders in like 2 minutes. It's fantastic. It's one of those things in a movie that I could just watch over and over again, and every single time I watch it, it just gets funnier.
I never was into zombies except for that one movie. It was a comedy. S something, I don't know, but it was funny. It was like a British guy or something. Sheila.
Oh, Shaun of the Dead.
Yes, that was it. That I like that zombie movie.
Oh, hello, Wind Cried Mary. Oh, and the funniest part of that movie, and we got to finish this, but you're talking about one of my favorite movies of all time, is like these zombies, and they're in London, and so some zombies in the backyard, and they're going through a shed, and they find a bunch of his records. So they start throwing these albums at these zombies, and they're getting stuck in the zombie's head, and then they're looking at the albums, and he says, somebody, I forget it, and he says, no, don't throw that. I like that one.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Shaun of the Dead is so funny, too. My God. Okay, so where are we? We are at Mr. Pirate Radio. You're number one, sir. Maybe Mr. Pirate Radio turned into a zombie. Mark, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, what's your number one?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Number one. What's your number one?
I chose Freebird.
All you guys are just minions and puppets.
Okay.
Freebird is an excellent
Well, we're eager to
song.
hear
It was
what song you think from their body of work was even greater than Freebird.
Oh, none. None. And that's intentionally why I didn't choose it, because I know it would have been on everybody else's list.
What's
Okay,
what's
Mrs.
what's the runner-up?
Hopkins, what is your number one? Oh my God, Mary. Oh my God. I didn't think anybody had ever seen this. Wind Cried Mary. It's a spoof of Shaun of the Dead called Juan of the Dead. And you think Shaun of the Dead is silly? Oh, this one called Juan of the Dead. Mrs. Hopkins says, "What's your name?" All right. Thank God. Thank God it's a free bird, yeah. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? 'Cause I must be moving on now. 'Cause there's too many places I got to see. Okay, the
And this
final
word you
song.
cannot change.
Yeah. The final song of the evening. Bimbo Barbarella picks. It's a song called Tush. Wait, oh, wait, no, wrong band, sorry. Um, um, Give Me Three Steps.
There you go.
And like I said, I easily could have put Sweet Home Alabama and Freebird in there, but I knew everybody else would, so I didn't. Oh yeah, Mrs. Hopkins, you have to watch One of the Dead. You have to watch it. It is. I mean, I know that you can't say the R word anymore or you get offended, but it is definitely,
What's the R word?
I can't, retarded.
Oh, you know, I don't know why not. What's wrong with that word?
I got put
Well,
in, I got put in, Addie, I got put in Facebook jail for 6 months because I go on Facebook very rarely and I just go to talk to my sister. And I told her about this retarded thing I did. So Facebook put me in jail for using a offensive word. And so I did you know, I, you know, a inquiry. I says, why am I in jail? I said that I was retarded. And he says, and I got a thing back. He says, well, you used an offensive word. I said, but I called myself. And they said, "Oh, it's still offensive. You can't use it." So then I
Offensive
just
to
went
who?
on. So then I just went on and on. I said, "Well, that's retarded." She said, you can't say that." I can't say what retarded. I said, "Oh, that's retarded." And so I must have said it like 15 times on purpose.
right.
But I grew up using that word.
The late Ralphie May had a whole stand-up about that. It's like somebody was talking to him about like using the word retarded, like it's offensive. It's like what? Retarded? Well, it's offensive to who? Retards? I mean, they can't be offended by the words because they're retarded. But he couldn't convince her either that that word wasn't that offensive. Back in my day, you had to, mix it up with the regular people.
So all in all, I think we had a good show. Um,
Yes, it was very good.
Yeah.
and Lamar says, oh, okay. So now we can say queer, and
Oh,
okay.
that
So now queer is okay.
Queer Eye for the queer guy. What's that show? That
Oh,
has,
Straight
queer
guy.
eye for the straight guy, I think.
yeah. It's funny how words change. You can't say it. Oh, now you can. Oh, you know.
And whose business is it of what I'm
Exactly.
saying anyway.
Private conversations. If I
Yeah,
want to
like
call
I
my
said,
kid a fucking retard, I should be able to.
yeah, Addie, and like I said, I was talking to my sister, talking about myself, and oh, you can't say offensive words. Oh, shut up.
Yeah, don't be a retard.
Yeah. Oh
Well,
no, I
there's
did, and like I said it like 15 times, and so then I ended up going from like 6 months to a year.
Sometimes
Oh,
you
so I got double
try.
the punishment. I got double the punishment.
there's always that point where speech, the hindrance of speech is used to keep people from being offended, to where it obscures communication in general. So
Right.
it's like,
Overboard.
yeah, there's that line usually gets crossed, and then you know all of a sudden someone's referring to somebody as vertically challenged instead of short.
Yeah,
I
or
mean,
that them, he, him, their, it. What? I don't understand all these pronouns. I'm like,
Zer, XIR.
yeah, you're Ann, you're Dan. I don't care if Ann or Dan has a thing down there or boobies or whatever. You're Ann, Dan. I'm not gonna call him, her, she, he. Like I see people get mad when you use the wrong pronoun.
Yeah.
Thinking,
Oh, okay, Lamar, and you are right. Yeah. I mean, it can be connotated as a put down for sure. Um, and my logic is something, that, you know, it's almost like the context that you use it in. If you're using it to be mean and to put somebody down, then that's not cool.
no,
But
being mean is not
But,
cool.
oh yeah, okay, Addie, and like you were, just saying about, pronouns and stuff. You know, when it comes to that, and me, I just say whatever. You know, I have more important things to worry about than what you think about me. I really do. I've got cats to feed. I've got birds to feed. I've got roofs to fall off of. All sorts of things.
Yeah,
Bopak
so if you
said,
want to be offended, go on. I got other things to do.
Yeah.
Bopak said that's a good point, Chris. So I feel vindicated. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's. I mean, I I cherish clear communication, but I don't like speech that's truly hateful and abusive. And
Right.
so, but
No,
it's a
And I
hard
don't think
line to
that
keep
anybody likes that.
drawing.
And
No.
and and nobody likes that.
no, but in my family talking, I can say abusive, mean things amongst my
Hmm.
family. I don't mean
Hmm.
it, but yeah, I've called my kids, my ex, my parents' names and said stuff that if I said to a stranger, they probably would have called the cops or something. But
Yeah, context. I mean, you have the context of the family versus there are things you say to your family that you would never say to a stranger. You
I
know.
I mean, you want to hear some abuse. Oh, you go spend some time at one of Cat Daddy's family's things. Holy Christ. I could not I could not imagine these words even coming out of my mouth. And and I can be pretty offensive, and even I'm sitting there and saying, "Damn, why didn't I think of that?"
see, I like dinners like that when my ex's family, they were all Italian, and oh boy, they could get into it sometimes. It was interesting,
Yeah.
but it was within the family.
Yeah. Context matters.
And so Bopak says that you can choose to be an asshole, just like Dennis Leary chooses to be an asshole. You're an asshole. He's an asshole.
Oh, I love that video.
Oh, I got that song. That
Yep.
I
song.
love, I
Why
love the
not
whole
with
album.
Abraham Lincoln?
No Cure for Cancer.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's funny that he actually was his. He was an asshole in the sense that he stole like 4/5 of his material from Bill Hicks, another comedian that had done a lot of that material that he kind of reworked. He reworked it in a clever way, and I would have never known about Bill Hicks if I hadn't discovered, Dennis Leary. But he did rip him off, and he pretty much got away with it because you know, Bill Hicks died of pancreatic cancer. I mean, he should have named the album "No Cure for Bill Hicks's Pancreatic Cancer," but maybe that was too long. But both comedians, if you YouTube search
Oh, hello, Miss Lori.
Bill
How are
Hicks
you?
versus Dennis Leary, then you'll see the comparisons back and forth in their material.
I'll have to
Okay.
do that. I didn't really know about Bill Hicks.
Yeah, Bill Hicks is funny. He was a Southern comedian, and you know, Dennis Leary put this Northern twist on it, and I liked both. I liked the material delivered by both comics, but Dennis Leary did rip him off, so that's not cool.
No.
But but they both deliver the material in an interesting and compelling way. But Bill Hicks wrote it.
I heard Rodney Dangerfield ripped off some.
Oh
old-
yeah, he ripped
Oh
off.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, and like
Carlos
Lori
Mencia, yeah, and a lot of artists.
And like Lori Fox said, Bimbo, just tell people that I got 99 problems and you ain't one of them.
Nice.
Yeah, so um yeah, because I had never heard of Bill Hicks, Chris, until you had told me about him a while ago.
Hmm. Definitely, if you search his comedy out, he has some funny stuff. And but no, comedians lifting a line or two is a time-honored tradition among comedians, but they usually don't rip off just whole paragraphs of material, and that's what
Oh, Rodney
Dennis
did that
Leary
a
did.
lot. Oh, Rodney did that a lot.
I've been rediscovering Norm Macdonald lately because after
Oh
he passed
yeah,
away, they've been
yeah,
putting a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I'm
Hmm.
like, man, he was underappreciated because
yeah.
he was. I'm like, man, I wish I had appreciated him when he was alive
He was so
more.
funny in like some movies he was in. Oh, okay, like the time that he was in the Adam Sandler movie, oh Billy Madison, when he's
Yep,
swimming in the pool and he says, "Oh, Billy, what do you see that penguin again?"
I have his movie Dirty Work.
I've never seen that one.
Oh, it's a Norm movie, but Chris Farley's in it. I mean,
Oh,
it
yeah.
has its more. I like, but Norm was.
Poor Chris Farley. And how come all the fat comedians die?
Ralphie May, Chris
John
Farley,
Candy,
um, Sam Kinison.
Yeah.
Jackie
Uh,
Gleason.
the
I actually
yeah.
I I actually saw Sam Kinison live once,
Hmm.
and it was so spectacularly funny because he did his whole like preacher routine, and just watching some of the people just like you came to a Sam Kinison show, you know, and you're offended, you know.
You gotta know what
He,
you're getting into. He
I
was.
think he used every last corpuscle of his body,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, he has some funny stuff. And
And like this was great. Yeah, when I was over visiting Dracula, Georgia. Um, okay, you know Bob Saget from Full's House. The Good Dad. There's a bit called the Aristocrats, which is like dirtiest possible joke. Bob Saget was not the good dad that he appeared on the show. He was raunchy, boy.
He was funny.
He was
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
And then Bopak says that Gilbert Gottfried does a good version of the aristocrat. I've never heard Gilbert Gottfried do it. I should.
I've only seen Gilbert do it. I've
I
never
love
seen
Gilbert
Eggert do
Gottfried.
it.
I love him. I love. And that's another comedian that I've seen live too is Gilbert Gottfried. And like he was and you know what I liked about him so much was that annoying ass voice he had.
Affleck. Affleck.
Yeah. And his real speaking voice was quite different from
Yes,
his
yes it was.
character voice.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Yeah, I saw him on Voice Swap. It was funny.
That's crazy. I didn't know he did that show.
Yep, he did. I think you can find it on YouTube. I'm not sure.
He was great. I mean, yeah, he
Okay,
certainly had his moments. You know.
Okay, and so now I got to watch Bob Hicks and Gilbert Gottfried and Norm Macdonald. Well,
You better write him down or you're never going to remember him. Bill Hicks,
yeah, I know.
Norm Macdonald.
Well, Misfit. Tonight when you're out in the kitchen with your cat buddies, tell them that breakfast is going to be late tomorrow.
The bearer of bad news.
Yeah. Yeah, but Misfit's been good lately. And you know why? Okay, because she hates, and this cat is so smart. A couple of days ago, she was outside my window, climbed up the tree, and was meowing, wanting to come in, because the cat, I guess, could like smell the rain, and not 5 minutes later, it started pouring.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, thank God I got Misfit here because that's the only intelligent, person here in the house besides me.
Well, at least you're not alone.
Yeah.
Smart kitty.
Okay, Mrs. Hopkins. And I already decided that we've had enough Southern music. We do need to do an Alice Cooper show, absolutely, for sure, 100%. But in 2 weeks, we're going to do Velvet Underground and Lou Reed. Because even though Lou Reed was the most well-known of the Velvet Underground, there was a lot of other good musicians there. Oh, John Cale, Sterling Morrison.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Who was their drummer? What was her last name?
Maureen Tucker.
Maureen Tucker. Yeah. That'll be a fun one to prep for.
Okay.
He created Lou Reed created a lot of albums, so it's going to be definitely a lot of albums to cover.
And some of them were so good, and others were just so incredibly horrible.
Metal Machine Music. I mean, he made that album to destroy his career, and it didn't work.
I know.
Like no one should have survived that album.
Okay,
he
Chris.
did.
Okay, Mrs. Hopkins. What do you figure? 12 songs between Lou Reed and VU. Okay, Chris. And before we close up shop, because we're going on 2 hours, do you want to describe what Metal Machine Music is?
It's an interesting album. The vivid point that comes to my mind is that the end of the album, if you have a vinyl copy of it, the needle goes further and further into the middle of the album, and it's the point where it locks and it repeats the same little spot over and over and over again. it doesn't ever go up and go back to end the album. So it's a strange it's a strange album, but if you bought it on vinyl, it gets stuck in this infinite loop at the end of it, so it doesn't end. So,
Who
but
did the
it was
news that day?
Metal Machine Music. That was Lou Reed.
And
But,
that was
Why would he do that?
you can't even describe what it's. Oh yes,
He was an
Lamar.
artist.
Oh, okay, yes. Oh, okay, yeah. And John Cale is considered in the video, so yes, you can use John Cale as well.
Oh, I honor.
They had an interesting relationship with the artist Andy Warhol as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Andy Warhol did the album art for Velvet Underground and Nico, that banana. And so they kind of played off of each other artistically. But no, his music, beyond the Velvet Underground was great too.
I mean, because I
And,
could come up with 12 songs right now off the top of my head right now.
It's he had some great cuts here and there. I need to kind of see the full scope of his work.
Oh,
and kind
there's a
comb
lot
through
of
it again.
stuff, Chris. There's a lot of
It's
stuff.
it's a lot of albums he did.
And then he even did the album with Metallica called Lulu,
Hmm.
which I've never heard, and
I think it was panned. It was not well
I'm
received.
almost afraid to listen to it.
If he had an idea, he recorded it. I mean, and
Yeah,
released
yeah.
it, and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah.
He did the album. I haven't listened to the album all the way through, but Coney Island Baby
Yeah.
should be a really good album to listen to. He was such a trendsetter. He talked about transgender issues long before anybody else picked up on it.
Oh, yeah, because that was all part of like the Andy Warhol, like Holly Darling, and Miami came from Miami,
FLA.
FLA.
Yeah,
Shaved
and
the legs, and then she said, "Hey man, take a walk on the wild side where the color girls go."
Do, 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 do. I know that song.
Yeah, see,
There you
so
go.
you got
Already got a head start. But yeah, Lou chronicled those characters, and those were real characters. Those were real people in the circle of Andy Warhol's factory, and but yeah, I mean that's going to be very high on everybody's list. But just great songs. Sweet Jane, anthem.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
great song. That's going to be very high up there too.
or White Light, White Heat, Heroin, and
They stopped performing. He stopped performing Heroin because
yeah,
about the intense content of the song.
right. And there's one of the Men in Black movies. It's number 3, and it's not the greatest movie, but there's a whole funny scene, is where Andy Warhol ends up being an agent for the Men in Black.
Hmm.
And the whole scene is just funny because this guy looks exactly like him, and then he takes off like the wig and the clothes and says, "Look," and I forget what he says, but like he's an agent of MIB, and he's there undercover as Andy Warhol, and he can't stand it.
Hmm. It's funny. I never saw that movie, but
Yeah.
No, me neither.
So, all right, guys. Well, I think we had a good show. Mrs. Hopkins, I am sorry that you had technical difficulties. Mr. Pirate Radio.
Thank you very much.
Are you doing anything coming up on your shows or no?
I'm not doing a show tonight. Probably tomorrow night there'll be a pirate radio.
cool.
All right. Well, I'll try to stay awake past 7 o'clock. So if I can, I'll be on. Miss
Yeah,
Patty,
I-
Miss.
I'm going around 10.
Miss Addie, it's nice to have you on. You haven't been up in a while. And of course,
Nice to see you, Addie.
we got Mr. Professor Bopak to throw in his couple of ointments of wisdom. Ointments of wisdom.
Mrs. Hopkins wrote R.I.P. laptop. Oh well,
Yeah.
I'm hoping for a speedy recovery of the laptop or a new laptop acquisition for
Oh,
Mrs.
that's right.
Hopkins.
Oh, that's right. Yes, and this coming Friday, hopefully Mrs. Hopkins will have her computer up. Is Jen's show? And thanks for mentioning that because I would have forgotten. Probably remembered Thursday. Um, Coming this Friday, she has her free movies on YouTube show, which me, her, Pirate Radio, and Mrs. Hopkins, you can go onto YouTube and watch a lot of free movies. And some of them that we've all watched have been, fairly decent. Others have just been, who wrote this? 40 chimps working on a typewriter? you know,
If they type long enough, they'll type out the Encyclopedia Britannica.
yeah. Okay, Mark, and thank you for coming up, my friend. You're always welcome. Nice to see you. Yes,
Thank you.
yes, Lamar. We shall see you again. And like I said, my friend, you're always welcome. And yes, yeah,
What?
and Bopak says that he has plenty of ointments to squirt. You know what I think is just as funny of a word as ointment? And they'll just say the word ointment. You can't say ointment without laughing. Another word like that is moist.
Or mushy. Mushy.
I've got some moist, mushy ointment to put on my streptococcus.
There's a fungus among us.
Yes,
And I
yeah.
think we all know how painful that can be.
So, yes, and let's hope that Mrs. Hopkins lives through Hurricane Hillary. And like I said, she's just probably pissed because one, she's going out with Bill, and then Trump, beat her, and so now she's got nothing to do. So she might as well cause some havoc somehow. So, in closing, I want to thank every single person who came up on the panel this evening. Thank you very much. I definitely appreciate you taking your time out of your busy lives to bring everybody some entertainment. I want to thank everybody on the right side who watched, and like I said, hope that we gave you some information and entertained you, because that's what we all enjoy doing. I know I do. I just like doing this because I like to be silly, and I like to be goofy. I could end you with me singing one of my new songs I wrote, but I don't know if you.
Please do not.
Huh?
Rest in peace, Addie.
Rest in peace,
Hey,
Bart.
Scott.
Say it's called When the Mirror Cries. And like I said, I have the song pretty much all written, and I'm kind of waiting for my new bass guitar, because if you ever heard my music, first of all, I apologize for that. I'm actually much better on bass than I am on regular guitar, so
We call it bass guitar where I live.
Bass? Oh, like the Bassomatic?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that Saturday Night Live
Yep, that's
commercial.
Dan
Oh,
Aykroyd.
Aykroyd, yeah.
the Bassomatic. Well, good night, everyone. Thank you. It was
Yes,
great.
good night, Addie.
99 Eddie.
Yeah.
So, and then there's another song I wrote here called Procrastination. And the mirror cries and procrastination. And these, I said, are actually very good lyrics, I think. And there are, well, procrastination is the typical song that I would write, but the mirror cries is not. And when you hear it, you'll say, no, no, that can't be Bimbo Barbarella singing that, because I can actually sing in like higher octaves, and I sing in a very high octave, and it just doesn't sound like something that I would ever do.
All right, we're ready for some falsetto, some Bee Gees level falsetto here.
No, it's not that bad.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
Stay alive.
And like to sing like that, you have to get up into like the operatic range.
Ah, ah.
Come on. Oh, come on. Come on,
Let
Chris.
me
Try it.
go. Oh. I'm done. I have a 1 octave vocal range. Maybe like 2/3 of an octave.
Okay. Most guys, and this is true. I do know this, Mark, and you might too, being a musician. Most guys have an octave range of like 1.5 to 2.
If they're lucky.
Women have it from like 1 to 4. That's why, a lot of the women, they're the operatic singers because
Well,
they,
Mark, what would you peg your octave range be, and what would the low note and the high note be? Since you're a musician, you would actually know, like on the piano, where you would, what's the lowest note you can sing? What's the highest note you can sing?
I never calibrated it. I never figured that out.
Really?
That's interesting. I'm going to do
Yeah,
that.
you have to do that experiment, like the death metal vocal exercise, like on YouTube.
oh, okay, because you guys have heard some of my songs, and
Mhm.
you can tell on like some of my songs that my vocal, range changes.
Mhm.
So
I think that's the reason a song is recorded in a certain key.
yes,
99 times out of
right,
100, it's
yes,
just because you're trying to put it up or down based to where the singer can sing the song.
yeah, right.
Like, why are you singing that in B flat? Well, that's where the singer was. That's. E is the natural key for most guitarists because, the E chord is like so foundational.
And
You play
how do
that.
you know that?
Oh, I fiddle farted around with a guitar for years.
No, and you actually played guitar during the 12 Rotten Christmas song.
Yeah.
And okay, so Mrs. Hopkins' aunt in Oklahoma can sing opera. I can't sing opera because I can't understand what they're saying.
Opera is like controlled screaming. It's very unusual if you think about it as a human activity. It's just strange. But
Yeah, but
I've been listening to a
sometimes
lot of classical music with some opera in it. So
yeah, but sometimes they
lately.
get to wear like cool Viking horns.
Hmm.
So I'd be into that.
Listening to some Wagner, some Tristan and Isolde.
So Bopak says I think I have a 3 octave range. Well, for a guy, that's rare because
That's very good.
okay, because Freddie Mercury had a 4. I do know that because that's the highest. Oh, that there is a 4. And Freddie Mercury could hit those notes at will.
Impressive.
Well, see, yeah, that's probably why too, Bopak. If your mother was an opera singer, and Jen would listen to opera with my grandfather. Pat Benatar started out in opera. Yes, Addie. Um, that is true. That is true. Most people wouldn't know that. But because you are a professor in the College of Rock Knowledge, you are privy to that wisdom. So, all right, guys, that's enough. It's
10:24.
yeah, that's long enough.
2.5 hours. It's a good show.
Okay, guys, thanks again. See you Friday, Miss Jen, and I hope that you're feeling good on Friday, and you can do it on Friday. If not, let me and Pirate Radio know because we'll do something for you.
Yeah.
Or oh yeah, Mark, because we tried. Oh, didn't we to play together on like YouTube, but like it wouldn't sync right.
Yeah, it was all fucked up. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's too bad. It's too bad because it'd be nice to do that.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Good night, and thank you for stopping by the College of Rock Knowledge, featuring our esteemed professors. Good night.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.